Hey, where are you? Bruh, where are you? I see your picture, but your lips ain't moving. Man, I'm looking right at you, but your lips ain't moving.
And it's like my talent, special talent I have. Hey, listen, though. Hey, Bellator on
You froze. Bellator what?
I said, did you see where Bellator's on Showtime now?
Yeah,
Bellator's on Showtime now.
yeah. It can stay in the 30s. I'm good with it. 20s, 30s. I'm good with it. It
I
just
mean, when you got that natural installation, bro, it's cool. I get it. But for
no.
me, I
I
just
just real men come from the north, so we can deal with
oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. That sums it all up. That's good
we
too.
can deal with the cold.
I'm saying these names not because they're essentially the best fighters out there, which we can make a case for Shakur Stevenson definitely. Um, they just look that much better than whoever they fight.
I think you might want to keep this thing on the feet and stay any way possible. Stay away from that guillotine choke. he was
Yeah,
squeezing Buddy's face in the last fight and
yeah.
put him out.
Come on, dog. Let's fight.
Welcome to the Fighter Share Report.
Hey, welcome to the Fighter Share Report. Listen, I was up for an hour after that fight went off last night. I was just sitting. I was just sitting there. I was so excited. I know we got other fights to talk about on that card. Um, so listen, the co-main was decent, was good. It was an upset. It was a straight upset. But my mind is on the main event, so I'm gonna let you deal with the other ones, and I'll comment where accordingly.
Listen, yeah, because you tripping right now. Yes, last night the main event lived up to expectations, but that was not the fight of the night, my friend. The fight of the night for me went to Julian Marquez and my boy Patolo from Hawaii. Listen,
Yeah.
that fight at 185 was unbelievable. And just when you thought that he couldn't dig any further, when you thought this is it, right?
Mm-hmm.
This guy turnarounds and bro, this is the thing unexpected. I didn't know who Julian Marquez was, but obviously he's fighting out of Florida. So that's what we do. That's what Floridians do.
Oh, come
And
on, man.
he showed up last night. The Cuban Missile Crisis really made a disaster of Mr. Paterno, who had up until that fight, to that point in the fight, bro, had pretty much probably won every round. I
Wrapped
mean, it
it
was a
up.
very good
Yeah.
flow. Yeah, it was a very good fight, ebb and flow, but he had kind of had the more telling moments of that fight. And when Marquez submitted him, bro, that was awesome. That's what you watch fights for, man. And this is why the UFC wins, bro. Guys we've never heard of give us amazing fights, bro. Had that been a championship fight, that would go down as one of the greatest UFC fights we've ever seen.
Yeah. I have to agree with you on that. Yeah. Had it been the championship fight, and it looked like a championship fight, the
It
way they
did,
were
man.
going at it.
It did.
Listen,
It did, man.
the man, they got so many on that card, but we don't have enough time. The co-main,
Yes, let's talk about it.
listen, they need to call my girl from Mexico the Mexican assassin. 'Cause-
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. They were talking about how good Usman's jab was last night. Alexa
Woo!
Grasso probably had the best
Yes.
jab on that fight card, bro.
Yes.
Her hand placement, her jab, bro. I am a fan. I might even start following her on the ground, bro.
And
She can
those
fight
check
her little,
hooks, man.
and I don't mean low in a derogatory, no. In her diminutive stature, she can fight herself, bro. That girl can fight. I like Alexa Grasso. She won a fan over me last night. I'm definitely
Listen,
gonna keep over her.
the young lady she was fighting was a big 126.
Big
A
120, yeah, yeah.
big
And
120.
fought like it, and fought mean
But
and aggressive, and
but Alexa was able to use technique to turn her around,
yep,
get her up against the cage,
yep.
throw them little elbows and check hooks and that jab. Look, shout out to Alexa Grasso for pulling the upset. Now, let's get to to
Look at this
170.
guy.
Not 170, but 170. Um,
Oh, you from Florida today? Okay, go ahead. Be about it.
whatever.
Let's go.
Kamaru Usman, the king of the cage, baby. I kept thinking all last night leading up to the fight, and I was gonna go on Instagram and ask the question: did we put too much stock in Gilbert Burns after he beat Tyron Woodley? Well, let me finish, because then you see what happened to Woodley to Usman. You see what happened to Woodley after Gilbert Burns to Kobe Covington. So, Burns' stock rose after he demolished Woodley. Now, I know he had some other great fights, but that put him on the planet, or on the map as the next great striker. And we already knew about his jiu-jitsu. But let me tell you, when round one started out and he tagged Kamaru, and he backed up against the cage, I was like, oh, I put my water bottle down. I was glued, bro. But that Charlo Holmes Ali jab that Usman had, oh man, we need more time. Go ahead.
Yeah, a great performance, man. I disagree with you, my friend. I think Gilbert Burns is still the second best guy in that division because I think he's faster and stronger than Kobe Covington when it comes to striking. So
Yeah.
what Usman did to Covington, Burns do the same thing. And outside of Covington, no one can keep Burns off him. Like he's going to out wrestle or out grapple anybody. So no, I don't think you overestimated. I think you underestimated how good Usman was. Bro, this man rises to the occasion, bro, every single time. We gotta put more respect on his name, bro.
Well, that's what he told you. That's what he told you at the end of the fight. Listen, Top Rank had a good card last night. Big Baby, the real Big Baby. Was it fourth round knockout? Sixth round knockout?
And I don't know what it was, but that right hook was nice, boy. I'm talking about he walked right into it too.
No, that was a left
laid
hook.
him out. Oh, my bad, it was a left hook. Yeah, I forgot he's a sophomore. Yeah, he walked right
He
into it.
straightened Buddy up,
Yeah, he did.
sent Buddy right back down.
Well, Buddy wasn't trying to listen. He wasn't trying to back out, get out fast enough. He had his hands down. It was an exchange.
Yeah.
You back up and exchange your hands up, not with your hands down. And when he hit him with that left, it was over.
It was over. And he caught him. He pieced him up
Flush.
nicely, right between
Yep.
the guard. Oh,
Yep.
it was sweet, bro. It was sweet.
Shouts out to Big Baby.
Yeah.
We talked about him earlier in the week, man. Again,
The real Big Baby.
The young American heavyweights are coming back, bro. I'm telling you, there's a few of these guys out there, so he's
He's only
definitely one I
21,
like.
man. He looked good. He surprised
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
He's stepping up in competition and stepping over him. And it was good. Okay. Richard Comey, I see you. Richard Comey, I see you. Look, man, that man has the weight of the world on his shoulders, and he came back and he looked good.
Yeah, I don't know more. I don't know a whole lot about Jackson Martinez or Marinez. Apologize for getting his name wrong. But I mean, Richard Comey did what he's supposed to do. It's just more about mental fortitude. If he's going to be able to rebound from what happened with Teofimo, this is his second fight since then. I think, bro, he is going to be fine. He's going to be there. He's not going anywhere. And on his best night, he can potentially give a lot of those guys in the top 3 or 4 spots ahead of him a run for their money, bro. So I think Richard's going to be fine. He's going to kind of hang around. Now, if he can win a bit off any of those guys, that's yet to be seen. He won't fight till that fight with Lopez will never happen again. So, you know, the odds are probably a little lesser when you look at the other guys out there. But, I mean, Comey's a very, very good fighter. He's world class. He's all that and then some. So, yeah, I didn't feel any type of way other than he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, I look, when you start listening to him in his interviews, and you just see how much pressure this young man put on himself. That you consider that you have the whole country of Ghana on your shoulders, and you're representing the entire nation. That's a lot. That's a lot. And you hear how hard he took that loss. That was a lot to deal with, man. And what his coach say the week after, you know, the loss, he was like, all right, let's go to work. You know, he had put it in perspective in its rightful place in his fuel tank, and he was able to get back out there on the grind. So, you know, listen, I get nothing but respect for him. He looked good last night, and I know you're saying we don't know about his competition. And announcers can boost up your competition and make it sound really good. But this kid had a good record. I think it was like 19-1 or 19-0.
Yeah, they always do, and that's around the time you really start getting tested. But it's not bad. It's not about Jax Martinez. I was just saying that in the way that he got knocked out. Everything you're saying about Richard Comey, and I'm saying this, as in an endearing way, is expected from me. I expected Richard Comey to do everything he did, except I didn't think he was going to lose that fight to Teofimo the way that he did. But bro, the weight of the weight of the country being on his shoulders, with him being the star and representing him in boxing, and him feeling that pressure, bro, and him losing and having to pick himself back up and gather himself to some remarkable true champion, and that is who Richard Comey is. So, I mean, yeah, it sounds good, but I would have been surprised if his response was anything other than what it was.
So, do you think Teofimo is going to jump to 140 and then vacate the titles he has?
I don't think he's going to. I mean, he could do that, but for what? To go to 140 and potentially lose? No.
He said he wanted to go 140.
Yeah, but no, he has some unfinished business at 135. I think there are a couple of guys out there that everybody wants to see him fight. It's not like he's doing a Jamel Charlo where he's clearly beating everyone with the belt. We'll talk about that later. No, he's beating some guys, but listen, we want to see the Tank Davis, we want to see Devin Hayden, we want to see the Ryan Garden, we want to see all those fights. Now, if those fights have to follow him to 140, then so be it. But for him to jump up and think he's going to beat a Ramirez, any of those guys at 140 off rip, as good as he is, I pause on that. Make these great fights at 35 first and then move up.
Yeah. All right. I get that to you. Man, I really want to go back to that UFC card and talk about some stuff, but I know we got to keep it moving. Okay. So, in London yesterday, Josh Warrington. I bet he won't drink another cerveza or margarita. He got waxed, bro.
Listen, this is why we do this show, bro. Because sports and entertainment, yep, you can say you never know what's going to happen. But no, in fighting, in combat sports, it is the true theater of the unknown, bro. Ooh. I'm not saying I would have bet my house on Josh Warrington, but I was just big up at him. Okay, I'll touch on that in a minute, Jesus. Yeah, I was all in on Josh Warrington earlier in the week. We were talking about this. I was singing his praises. I felt like he should have been a little, getting a little more credit than what he's been given. And boy, was it ever my face. I was wrong. Lara came in with them big, heavy hands, bro. And the exchanges, man, it was a great fight. Warrington fought like a champ. When he fought like he had been out for a while, and he didn't get safe when he got hurt. He tried to fight through it. All those were mistakes. And it cost him, but this is the theater of the unknown. Lowry came in, Mexican style, and won that fight, bro. And kudos to him. He just changed his life forever, so good for him.
Now, they were saying that Warrington didn't have his title. He was the NABF champion, but they kept saying during the broadcast that he no longer had the title.
I watched the fight with the volume off, brother. I didn't even listen to the commentary, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay. All right. So, but yeah, shout out to Lara, man. He took. Now, the question from Jesus M is Warrington finished? Because typically, when UK fighters are built up and they lose a defining match, they remain relevant in the UK, but that's it.
No, Warrington's not done. I'm sure he has a rematch clause in there. He'll get to run it back again with Lara. And if I'm wrong, Jesus, feel free to let me know that. Yeah. Listen, this was not about him not being able to beat Lara. This wasn't about skill. This is about him just not making the right decision. But once he got clipped, he should have held on, gathered his thoughts, and got himself together and lived to fight another round. He tried to fight through that early barrage. He was never the same. His hands didn't look as quick as they normally look, but he took a lot of shots. His eyes, to me, didn't look good. And what I mean by that is he wasn't reacting quick enough to the punches that were coming from him. And Lara's not known for his hand speed. So did he catch him rusty? Did he not prepare? Did he overlook? All those things could be true, but guess what? It don't matter now. He got stretched. Lara won. That's it. But I think in the rematch, you'll probably see a better Josh Warrington.
Lara reminded me of a Jarrett Hurd in that fight. Or I don't want to be well, yeah, a typical Mexican fighter, even though Hurd's not. But the fact that he would just take shots to deliver shots. And he just kept walking in and pressing, to where the hand speed didn't matter because he was taking, with every blow he delivered to Warrington, he was taking any sting Warrington may have had off of his punches. And it was pretty impressive the way he systematically broke him down. And then when Josh Warrington's eyes started talking to people, it let you know that something was wrong in that corner because his eye was like, "Hey, can he put some protection on?" Because it was crazy. He was getting tagged, bro. He was getting, and the way he got knocked out was oof. Just the way he got knocked out.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal, man. Early Cannon probably knocked out of the year. But my thing with Warrington is he didn't fight and control the distance. He let Lara control the distance, let him get inside, and he just really just wore him out inside. He was never able to really establish distance or the jab. And once he got hurt early in the fight, he thought that was where he probably had to fight going forward because he was down in the cards early. Just wasn't a good strategy for Warrington. So I'm not asking you to make a complete overhaul change, but fighting at a distance and fighting behind the jab will probably help him. But again, with a fighter like Lara, once he knows that you can't hurt him, it's still going to be hard to keep him off you. So, but I think if Warrington gets a camp in, I mean, not that he didn't have a camp for this fight, but I think now that he's got this loss on his belt, he's been kind of humble, so to speak. I think we'll see a better Josh Warrington in the rematch.
We need to, because, I mean, the announcers were giving him all the kudos and credit through the first couple rounds, and then it was just like, what's happening here? It was like they were prepared for a fight they weren't watching. So it took a lot of people off guard. All right, Zup, your time.
Yeah, so actually, I kind of thought about what I was going to talk about today for once in a change. And today I'm going to talk about Dale Earnhardt. Dale Earnhardt died 20 years ago today. It's crazy because I actually remember watching Daytona 500 from my dorm room when it actually happened. Why was I watching Daytona 500? Because I'm a country boy from a small town called Sebring, Florida, and we have a big race every year called the 12-hour Sebring Endurance Race. So I've always kind of known about car racing, so it's kind of always been something I would kind of keen in on and tune into, whenever the time allowed. But Dale Earnhardt was an icon, man. And what's ironic, and the reason why I chose to talk about him, because Dale Earnhardt didn't represent someone that we would be able to identify with in the South, other than being probably the guy that we probably see at a neighborhood Walmart or something like that, right? The kind of guy that you probably wouldn't even talk to if you had to. But there's something about Dale Earnhardt that was interesting. He was very candid. He didn't say a whole lot, but when he did, he meant what he said. Now, this was before social media, and we probably don't have a lot of archived conversations on things Dale Earnhardt probably said. But we see it in his son. Dale Earnhardt Jr. following his pop's footsteps. And man, listen, when I say he is someone that is very thoughtful, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has always been very supportive, speaking out about not only human rights, but what plagues Black athletes. He talks about that a lot. He started podcasting, talking to different athletes. Bro, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has earned the respect of the people in our culture. The ties in the Black History Month, because Michael Jordan just signed Denny Hamlin, and they just signed, yes, Bubba Wallace, who will be manning a new car day in the Daytona 500. Bro, we're seeing barriers being broken down around us daily. Hopefully we'll get to a point we're going to talk about barriers being broken down anymore. It'll just be the norm instead of the exception. So, yeah, that was my rant about Dale Earnhardt, NASCAR, Black History Month, and everything in between, I guess.
Awesome. I loved him ever since I saw him on MTV Cribs. In his first house, he had a 300 capacity bar in his basement. Yes. Listen. Last night in the UFC, something happened that they didn't really want to happen. Dana White will be able to manage it, but it could have led to almost a contender's catastrophe. When Kamaru Usman beat Gilbert Burns, who is clearly the next best fighter in that division. I take nothing away from Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns clearly is the number one contender still. But Dana White now has an issue. Kamaru has beaten anyone of any relevance already at 170 pounds. Now the prevailing thought is to have Colby Covington fight Leon Edwards for a shot at Kamaru Usman. My thought still remains: if Gilbert Burns is still the number one contender, shouldn't they have to go through him? But as we see in the UFC, Dana kind of determines who is the number one contender. He makes all the rankings. So he's going to make this fight mean more than it really does. Because if Colby Covington wins against Leon Edwards, then he gets a second shot, which, in my opinion, he's not deserving of. If he loses, does Leon Edwards finally get his shot? And is he going to be able to make the most of it? So it's going to be interesting. Usman has pretty much cleaned out that division because anybody who's anybody in that division, he has beaten. Hey, Jomo. Listen. My cousin Brandon had an car accident and they had to do surgery on him. So I'm just asking for your prayers and well wishes that he gets well soon. He has a girlfriend and young children, and he's a thriving member of society. He owns a tow truck company, and he's, out there doing the right thing when so many people aren't. So I just ask for your prayers and well wishes for my cousin Brandon that he will get well soon.
Indeed, brother, indeed. But yeah, man, we had a great night of fights last night, bro. So that too, Pops. I was gonna add that in, but I was trying to keep it PC. You're right. That's really how I got into it. But yeah, great night of fights last night, man. The theater of the unexpected, man. Congratulations to Carl Usman, man. We may be watching greatness. No, we may be
watching greatness.
Living in greatness right now because I don't see this man's 33 years old. He's having 3-4 years to fight at this kind of level. And no matter what kind of injuries he's had, the way he's able to take care of himself and channel into a fight, I don't see anybody beat him.
And he has the most consecutive welterweight defenses in UFC history. He broke that record of George St. Pierre last night.
All right, go ahead with your shout outs, bro.
Oh, man. I thought you were going to respond to that. Shout out to my family. Shout out to everyone who chimed in and watched. Shout out to Pops. Shout out to Miss Audrey, Miss Anita. Shout out to Jesus. Shout out to Miss Samantha. Hey, yeah. Shout out to all of you Fighter Share Nation.
You gotta do better with your time. And we'll see y'all tomorrow on our Let's Refine show. We out here at Fighter Share Nation. Peace.
Time is on my side.